Okay people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight I'm going to take a look at the X-Men Legends series Juggernaut wave. Now I had originally intended to split the wave in half, but I am going to be on a plane to San Diego in 2 days. And you know what? I'm just going to do them all. I'm going to run through, I'm going to do all 8 figures at the same time. I don't know how this will come out. I'm gonna give it a shot. So this video may be kind of long. One long video or 9 separate semi-long videos of me rambling on about each figure individually. So like I've said before, this wave is the one that got me to pull my head out of Star Wars' ass. But I was still buying Marvel Legends too. I just wasn't opening them. But then the X-Men wave was shown, this wave. Now the X-Men was always my favorite as a kid, as a teenager. X-Factor, Excalibur, X-Men. If there was an X in front of it, I was all over it. This was mid-80s, late 80s, early 90s, up until the Jim Lee era. At that time in my life, I was just getting out of high school. I had found Wine, Women, and Song, moved on to other things, and then I came back into the fold with new X-Men. So yeah, I missed a little bit right there. So even though a couple of these figures are modern, some of them are from the 90s, it's still X-Men. I still like at least the character design enough to get the figures. I guess you could say X-Men is my bread and butter. And it's been a long time since we've had a butter sandwich. I don't know where I'm going with these metaphors. But as you can see, the packaging, standard Legends, they went with a yellow tint for this series, which works really well with these side pictures. Just looking at these in the package, each figure looks great. I haven't even opened them yet, and I love them. But we'll see how the plastic holds up under close scrutiny once I get them open. And that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to get all these open, so I'll be back in a couple hours. And there you go, all out of the package, and that took quite a while. When I came up with the dumbass idea of doing all these at the same time, I thought, I'll just run right through them. No, going through them, they're cool. We're going to go through each one individually. I'm going to save Juggernaut for a different video. There's a couple of things I want to do with him, and he's huge. So I'm going to just do him separate. Now first up, Cable. There's a lot of new sculpt here, and it's done really well. I haven't read a lot of modern comics. I have nothing against them. It's just a time factor, really. But from what I can tell, it's pretty close to what he is wearing either currently or he was just wearing. But there's a lot of good detail in it. The vest, especially, has all these little techno bits and details. The pants are good. I like his shin guards, even though it impedes his ankle movement forward. I don't care too much for half the face being technoed out, but it works with this costume, I guess. I don't hate it. And then overall, the paints are pretty nice. It's all in place. Now, size-wise, he's pretty big, which Cable is supposed to be big. This should give you an idea. Here he is with the, the standard Bucky Cap body on Black Panther. Going over articulations, ball on top of a hinge here at the neck, so you get down, but he kind of looks like he's just sobbing into his vest. And look up. No, well, he's got a little tilt to the left, but not to the right. Got swivel, hinge and swivel at the shoulder, and then swivels around. Got a swivel at the bicep, have double elbow, hinge and swivel at the wrist, hinge, swivel. The vest is interesting. Everybody was talking about that it's an overlay, but it's not. It's the actual torso, and it's got a pretty good range of movement for being what it is. It's essentially a ball joint in there. He's got some side to side. He's got some forward. He's got some back. Got a waist swivel, hinge and swivel at the hips. He can go out about that far. He can go forward. You can go back, have a swivel at the thigh, and it's hidden really nice under these straps. That's amazing. Got a double knee, got a hinge at the ankle, goes back about that far, and then the armor piece kind of runs into it there. It doesn't allow forward, and then forward-facing peg for rocker. I don't know if it's because the ankles don't come forward enough, or what's going on there, but I kind of have a problem with him going back. Cable comes with these futuristic-looking guns. I'm not sure if we've seen these before. I can't remember if Hope came with either one of these, but for Cable, I would call it a pistol-type gun. And then he has a rifle-looking gun. Again, kind of flat, detailed on both sides. It got a metallic look to it. And then he comes with some bullets on a belt, and I'm not sure where these go. I haven't been able to find a place on him. Maybe I'm missing something. I'm lost. And I'm sure one of the first comments are going to be, well, it plugs right into there, stupid. And I'll be like, I am stupid. What's going on there? Next up is Rogue. This figure is amazing. We've seen it for about a year now, and Hasbro nailed this one. Jacket looks nice. It doesn't impede anything. There's a metallic quality to the green, and even though the yellow is flat, it kind of contrasts against that green, and just, it does something. It's magical. The sculpt It fits Rogue. The hair sculpt, I love how the paint got her white on the front without just being stark white. Her headband, it's kind of throwing me off that the knot is on the front and kind of coming back. I can't remember if that's right. It seems right because it just seems like it would be one of those things. But 20 years later, it looks kind of odd to me. Like I said, this is an amazing figure, but one of the things that kind of throws me off is all the loose doodads on her. Her glove cuffs are a loose piece. Her belt's a loose piece. Her knee pads are a loose piece. Well, I don't think they're knee pads. They're the top of her boots that are supposed to be up a little bit. And then these bands around her lower leg is a loose piece. I almost feel like I should glue those on because I hate stuff like that. When you're trying to pose, it's all flying around, it's messing with you, and it gets out of place. You go to take a picture or look up on your shelf and something's screwballed backwards, or, you know what I'm talking about. For articulation, the head is just on a ball. There's no hinge to it. So she gets swivel. She can look down a little bit, but she can't look up. Just because of the hair, it just gets in the way. Hinge and swivel at the shoulders, she gets up all the way, and then it swivels around. Hinge and swivel at the elbow, and she can get up to about 90. Hinge and swivel at the wrist, hinge, and then swivel. Got a ball joint in the torso. She can't get a lot forward. It's not quite there. She can get some side, back. I don't know what the deal is with the hips lately, but it's just not getting a lot of movement out. Forward, back. She has a double knee, but you'll have to watch for these loose pieces to get in the way. Hinge at the ankle, goes back there, goes forward, and then forward-facing peg for rocker. Now for accessories, Rogue comes with a bare hand. And I guess that's where it comes in handy that the glove cuffs are a loose piece, because when you pull off the hand, you can just take the glove cuff off too, and then put the bare hand on. Not bad. So I'm just going to jump from the best female in the line to probably the worst, just by default. Not all of them can be as good as Rogue, and that's Phoenix. We haven't had a great track record with Phoenix, and I'll admit, back in the Toy Biz days when Marvel Legends 6 came out, that Phoenix, we were over the moon to have it. But after a while, the spinning meat, the extra articulation, the chipmunk face, it just wore on you until you wanted to get it out of your display. And this is a good update, but it has its problems. First and foremost, I don't like some of the parts being cast in kind of a metallic gold, yellowish, and then some of it being painted. It doesn't seem to match up. Her face is kind of angry bored, not a lot of emotion to it. I would feel a lot better about this figure if there was some kind of stand, and I almost want to try to track down that old Marvel Select Phoenix that has the bigger bird. For now, she will work as the Jean in my collection, even though I'll probably have to hang her up, because she doesn't like to stand. I don't know if it's because of the use of an old body or what. She's okay to stand, but she's got a lot of back weight right here, and her knees attempt to buckle a little bit, so it throws her off. And that's on top of being a tiny base. Tiny base, big top, you're going to have some center of gravity issues. I'm not going to do articulation on her. It's an older figure with an updated head, but I will say that her head kind of looks odd on the neck. You can kind of get it to shift the ball up inside, and she can kind of look back, but from the side it just looks weird. And for accessories, she has none. In fact, looking at the packages of all the figures, you look at Jean's and hers looks kind of empty, kind of lonely. And I'll get all my ranting done here in the middle, and then we'll go back to the good stuff of the wave. Again, the bad stuff is only bad by comparison. They're actually pretty cool. I like Jean, and I like this Iceman, but compare them to the awesome stuff in the rest of the wave, it just falls a little bit short. Now Iceman, he's reusing a sculpt. It has some new parts on it, the forearms and the head and the shins. They all have ice effects added to them, and they all look pretty cool for a modern style Iceman. The feet are reused from the 3-pack Vision. I never bought that set. I didn't see much use for it. I want a good Vision. I don't know how gummy the Vision is, but Iceman is a little bit gummy, a little bit loose, a little bit floppy, but damn, he looks cool. I mean, look at the plastic. For an Iceman figure, this is what I want for the plastic. It's kind of translucent, but not enough to see all the joints inside. It has the appearance of ice. You can kind of see that the legs, especially in the hips, is just kind of weak. If you try to get them crouched down, ice sliding, the figure's own weight causes that to collapse down. It's just very loose in the hips. And then the double joints in the elbows are both locked up in the biceps. It doesn't hinge right here and right here. It's frozen. But like I said, I want to like this figure. I don't like the bare feet too much, but overall, this would be my Iceman. And it probably will be my Iceman until a better one comes out. skipping articulation because, one, this is a reused figure, and two, it kind of makes me mad because of the gumminess and the looseness. I wish I had some kind of eye slide base because he would be perfect on that. And for those of you who want to Dremel down or try to fix, make him look more classic, this back piece does just come off. It's pegged into the peg hole. But let's jump from two mediocre figures into probably my second favorite figure of the wave. And in the past couple hours, he's jumped back and forth between being my most favorite and my second favorite. So that'll probably change by the time I finish this sentence. This Wolverine is perfect. Yes, if you nitpick on it, you can find something wrong here. But overall, this is my favorite Wolverine ever. We've never had a Wolverine that was short enough. The head wings on the mask may be a little bit off, but I feel like they evoke that classic look of just sometimes they were huge, sometimes they flew out. This works for me completely. And at first he seems a little bit small, but he's built like a tank. You get him beside other figures and that's when this Wolverine shines. In fact, we'll go into comparison right here. Here he is with the standard Bucky Cap body. And look at him. He's short. Finally. It's the Wolverine where you look down on him, but you're still scared as hell of him. It just brings back reading those old comics of what a little badass this guy was. Now for accessories, he does come with a set of hands without the claws extended. The claws out of the package may need some TLC. You can see right here, I can make that shift that way, but it slowly just goes. It's not that the claw's bent, it's just that it sits in there funky. So I may need some shim in there. I may need to do some heating. These are a little bit worse. They all kind of shift down, and I think that's from being in the package like that. The only problem I have with this figure is that these hands, and I say problem, it's not really a problem. These hands are kind of easy to pull out. They just kind of shift out, really. But that's okay because you don't have to exert a lot of force and risk bending those claws when you do get them perfect. But I'm going to put these hands in for the articulation. I mean, look at that. Just, yeah. Ooh. Now, in initial pictures, I thought the head was a little bit high, and it is if you shift it back and put it up there. See how far his chin is from his shoulders? He should be hunched over. He should be, you know, animalistic. So if you take that hinge, shift it forward, it gives it a little bit more of a berserk look. He's got a hinge in the neck, then a ball on top. Not a lot of side to side. Again, to the left. I don't know what the deal with that is. He looks up really well. He looks down really well. He's got butterfly shoulders. That's awesome. Finally. And they're integrated really well. There's no gap. They're almost invisible. They're not, but I can say that. Shifts forward. Look at that. It makes him look a little bit tougher. Shift back. He's got a lot of range right there. Hinge and swivel in the shoulder. It's kind of tough, but he comes all the way up. Swivels around. Got a swivel in the bicep. Double elbow. Hinge and swivel in the wrist. His ab crunch crunches all the way over. Look at that. And then he can still look up. Yeah. Back, not so much, but I never care about back. I always care about forward, and this works great. Swivel in the waist, hinge and swivel at the hip, goes out about that far, comes forward, comes back. Got a swivel at the thigh, double knee, swivel at the boot. And that point of articulation more than anything makes me confident, and I hate to say this, makes me confident that they will reuse this body some more later on for more Wolverines. Yeah. Who thought we'd ever ask for more Wolverines? But here we are. Or, well, here I am. I'm asking for them. I don't know if anybody else is. Hinge at the ankle goes back there. Goes forward there. And then forward-facing peg for a rocker. Moving on to Havoc. I didn't think I was going to be that excited about this figure, but having it in hand, I dig it. I love it. I like costumes like this. The modern age costumes that are based on the classics. You still have Havoc's kind of ring things on the top of his head. It's just toned down a lot to more of a helm type look. And then really it's just some silver added. His classic costume was just straight up black, and it worked at the time, but I kind of like these accents. I like updates like this. I like that the chest circle thing looks kind of energized. It's got kind of a white overspray in the middle of it. It kind of gives it that power look. And overall, the silver and the figure itself, it could be a boring looking figure, but it's kind of cool. Now basically, he's on the Bucky Cap body. I keep comparing figures to Black Panther. This is the Black Panther body right here, just with a new head, and I think that's reused from the Bucky Cap. Just a clean figure overall, a good basis for customs. Now there is some paint slop here on the head. The silver kind of gets crazy right here onto the black, and then the mask itself, if you look right there, it comes down onto the face where it's not on the other side. I may fix that because this is going to be Havoc on my shelf. He just looks cool. And he has those eyes that kind of follow up and down. If you have him looking like this, he's looking straight on. But as you drop it, I don't know if it's because the brow's exaggerated, but as you drop it, he's still looking forward. No articulation breakdown because you guys know what's up with this body. But for accessories, he does come with some awesome little energy effects. I don't know if these have been reused. The other effects that I have like this are kind of more pointy, more magic looking. These are energy. They're not perfect for Havoc, but because of the color matching his chest piece and all that, they look damn fantastic. And it spruces up the figure just a little bit more, puts him over the edge right there. Plus the cool thing about these effects, it almost looks like snow and ice. So if you wanted to put him on Iceman, they work there too. He can be, you know, shooting an ice blast or getting ready to freeze something. Double duty energy effects. Which brings me around to Kitty. For a plain figure, she is nice. I love this figure. She stands well. There's articulation works pretty good. There's some points. We'll get to that here in a minute. But the overall look is just great. It's Kitty in a variation of her school uniform, which when I picture Kitty, I picture the blue puffy sleeves. But that's beside the point. Other than that, I picture her in a uniform like this. It's not quite the astonishing uniform, but I will probably fudge it into an astonishing display. Now for articulation, her ponytail isn't as bad as the other female heads. She can get kind of a shift because it's a hinge and a ball. Look down, look back, swivel. She's got a lot of tilt, so there's a lot of attitude there. Hinge and swivel at the shoulder, comes up, goes around. You gotta kind of go around her uniform right there, but still. Elbow. Now this one's kind of the disappointing. She doesn't quite get 90. Hinge and swivel at the wrist. Ball joint in the torso. She can get forward. She can get back. She can get side. She can get side. Hinge and swivel at the hips. Forward. Back. Out. Not so much. Swivel at the thigh. Double knee. Hinge in the ankle. Goes back that far. Goes forward that far, and then forward facing peg for rocker. Now, as if Kitty wasn't awesome enough, she also comes with Lockheed. Now, we've had a Lockheed before, but it was kind of clumpy. This Lockheed is an amazing little sculpt, actually. He doesn't really stand by himself without being perched up on his tail and wings, but, and this is genius, the tail goes around Kitty's neck along with the wing to kind of support Lockheed up on her shoulder. You see the wing coming across? That's fantastic, really. It looks great. I don't see myself ever displaying this Kitty figure without Lockheed. It just finishes the figure. It's part of the figure, to me anyway. And not only that, if you want to perch him up on her arm, you can get the tail around her arm, kind of move the wing where there's pressure, and yeah, look at that. He's the 10th character in this wave. And then Kitty comes with the head of Onslaught. We got the Red Skull Onslaught a couple of waves ago. This is to finish that off if you wanted just a straight up Onslaught. And I'll show that when I get to the Juggernaut. And then last but not least, my favorite, surprise, surprise, is Deadpool. And now for being just the standard Bucky Cat body, there is a lot added here to just make his look completely different from all the figures that have used this body before. The straps, the harnesses, the boots, the shin guards, the forearm guards, it all just wraps up into one big Deadpool package. The colors are kind of muted. It's not as bright a red as I would have liked it to be. And then the straps and the buckles and the pouches and that kind of thing, it's just a straight up brown. There's no wash to it, so it comes out looking kind of plain. The grenades on the pouch are painted green, and then his belt buckle is pretty nicely painted for what it is. But the sculpt work on the add-on pieces is all just pretty great. Now, all the articulation works just like the Bucky Cat body, and even the new additions, they work pretty good. My problem comes into play because of, I guess, how he was packaged. The elbows were kind of warped, and they were kind of tight. They, just like Iceman, they don't really want to move up in the bicep. But you can see the warpage right there in the elbows. It's softer than even Havoc, who uses this same body. See right here, it seems like the joint is loose. Now, Deadpool does not come with a Build-A-Figure piece, which is a good thing because he comes absolutely packed to the gills with accessories. He has two swords, nicely painted on the hilts, the red and the black, but the blades themselves are just cast in gray. The swords have a curve to them, but then the scabbards, or the sheaths, don't really have a bend to them, so you got to kind of force them in there when you get to this point, and it's kind of a tight fit. He comes with 2 pistols, no paint detail to these, they're just cast in the flat gray color. And those both have holsters. For his left one, it's crossed over his hip. These are really tight in the holsters, so these won't fall out either. And then, I don't like how this is loose, but it's been pretty good about staying down there. And then you can see the other gun goes in here. He comes with a knife. It's a good sculpt. It's useful. As many weapons as Deadpool can hold, I'm good with. And it goes in the boot holster. It's on the new addition to the leg. It just goes in there, and then it's got a tight fit right at the end. It actually has a little bit of snap to it when it goes down into it. Not falling out. That's a good thing. He comes with a crazy kind of looking futuristic rifle. He comes with the grenade launcher looking thing. He comes with a rocket launcher. For this, it's got an addition of a boxing glove on the end. I don't remember him using a boxing glove launcher type device, but he very well may have. But in the back of my mind, I can't help thinking that I want a sheep gun. That would be cool. The boxing glove does come off the end of it, so if you wanted to use it as just a standard launcher, or, you know, it's been shot, then you can use it as that. And it took me a minute to figure out, it's got a big pin right here, and that fits right in the hole in the back, right there. So he can hold it, but it looks kind of awkward. He comes with an alternate head that is really a fantastic sculpt. It looks just like the last series I read with Deadpool in it, and that would be where he was fighting the dead presidents. Both costume and this head sculpt looks dead on for that Deadpool. The paint is a little bit better than I thought it would be. It's more of a darker, ugly color, but I would have liked to seen inside the cracks and the peel away parts right here to be a different color, just to give it that little extra oomph right there. Finally, probably the greatest accessory to come with a Marvel Legends since Pizza Spidey, which was so long ago, is Deadpool's taco. For it being an accessory of a taco, it's actually got more paint apps than he does on his harnesses. I'm going to need more Deadpools just to put randomly on the shelf with tacos and different weird things. The pinky, I like it, and it fits his character, but I don't know, it's kind of annoying. The head, it's easy to pop off, but to get this head on, it's a struggle to just get it on. And I think it's just this head, because it seems like a tighter fit here. You put the Deadpool head on, the masked head, and it pops on. There's a pop. Not a huge problem, but it makes me not want to change this out a lot, which is another reason to get more Deadpools. So at the end of the day, I absolutely love this set. Like I said, I'm getting to Juggernaut later. I can't wait to build him, see what kind of options there are there, how he looks with the rest of the figures. Just, X-Men is back, baby. My shelves are loving it. In fact, this set has inspired me to go back, do some rearranging, get some of those Marvel Legends that I still have in boxes up on the shelf, some more Hasbro stuff, go through my old Toy Biz bins, see if there's anything that'll fit in with these figures, or any of the newer Marvel Legends that I just have laying around. Yes, there is some QC problems, Iceman's joints, but I'd rather pose him than Jean. I don't know what it is about Jean. She just does not stand worth a damn. And then a rubbery joint here and there. But even with their problems, they are still upgrades over the old figures. Figures I don't have anymore because I just couldn't stand to look at them anymore. And if you listen to the podcast, I talked about it there. I have no clue where my old figures go. I have a toy troll running around the house. But yeah, I remember having toys, but now they're gone. So I apologize for not having more comparison pictures. I either turned them into fodder, or they got just lost somewhere, or the boy took off with them. I cannot say enough good things about this set. I was amped to get them. I was heartbroken when my set was locked up in the post office all weekend. Now that I finally have them, I'm excited. I'm ready to go to Comic-Con and see what they have for us next. Because if they keep this up, I'm in for Marvel Legends, especially if they want to give us more X-Men. And there was a lot of talk going around that they couldn't do X-Men, or Marvel wouldn't let them do X-Men since Fox has the cinematic X-Men universe. But here we are. This is freaking awesome. Hasbro, this is how you should be doing it. So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the Fwoosh. I feel like he needs it to be able to get down into a crouch. He gets pretty deep, but he can't go flat-footed. It's not terrible, but if I had that toe joint right there, I could get that leg all the way back and he could be sitting on his foot. So, not terrible, a little bit better than the Ultimate one, but still not great.